Thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive. It's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday evening and we're coming to you live from our studios in Noida with 4 big exclusive stories. I mean, how many stories do we need of Pakistan's failure in Operation Sindoor? The first story we have for you on top of 7 p.m. will blow your mind on the status of Pakistan's arms and ammunition. Big story coming up. Here are the headlines. Pakistan is a 40% DUD nation. 40% DUD nation fired 40% and more DUDs into India. We have the full report, the details, the visuals on the show this evening. Pictures tonight also of the ammunition that Pakistan sold to Ukraine and the DUDs that were fired to India. DUD clearance being done by Indian Army. Exclusive report coming in from Tamil Nadu where 600 people are facing eviction notice in Chennai's Ambedkar Nagar. Dispute over government's Enemy Land Act. As Yunus himself faces pressure, he's completely cornered. He's mobilizing the Jamaat. Jamaat leaders are being freed. Details from Bangladesh tonight. Kerala coast facing an oil spill threat, an alert issued. We have a ground report off the coast of Kochi this evening. By now, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that Pakistan fired DUDs into India is a known fact. We all knew Pakistan fired DUDs. They fired their own DUDs, they fired Chinese DUDs, and their arms, ammunition, missiles, drones failed against India. They even sent Turkish DUDs. Now, let's tell you that on the show this evening, we have the first detailed account of how many DUDs really were used by Pakistan. We have pictures to show you the DUDs. The DUDs that were fired, and it's become so easy for the Indian Army, which is now clearing these DUDs. Their only job is to defuse these DUDs right now. Pakistan essentially sold all its artillery. Shells were sold to Ukraine for the Ukraine war. And these are pictures that we have access. It's an exclusive video that we have. Exclusive video on This Is Exclusive at 7 p.m. Pakistan sold 155 artillery to Ukraine for money. And this story is important because they sold their actual working, effective ammunition to Ukraine. And which country, which self-respecting country keeps DUDs for itself? This is a video that we received from Jammu and Kashmir. Location unknown. We are not naming the location, but this is where DUDs were fired. And what you're seeing on your video, on the screen right now, is the Indian Army defusing the DUD. So essentially, the 40% DUD nation called Pakistan fired over 40% DUD artillery into India, and these DUDs are being cleared. Gursimran brought us those pictures. And before I go across to Gursimran, we've also accessed today videos of how Ukraine is using Pakistan artillery. Can you show that? There's a window. There's a 2 window that I have. One that shows how Pakistan sold its effective artillery shells to Ukraine. The only ones that worked in Pakistan sold to Ukraine. And the DUDs were used against India. I have that 2 window. I'll just play out that window in the video from Ukraine, because that shows you what the corrupt Pakistani generals do. This is why Pakistan, and a section of Pakistan, hates its army, because its generals are corrupt and have sold whatever was left to Ukraine. Look at that. That's a video of Ukrainian army. The Ukrainians using Pakistani artillery shells. There it is on your screen. We'll just label that. I'll just intersperse the visuals, please. On the right is the Ukrainian army using the artillery shells. On the left, there is, and on the right, how Indian army defused the Pakistani duds that fell into Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, Gursimran broke the story. I'm going across to him. Gursimran, I mean, this is the heights of corruption. Because from the details that you've shared with me, data post-Operation Sindoor, you're telling me 35 to 40% of shells, 35 to 40% of shells that were fired by Pakistan were duds. It effectively becomes a 40% dud nation.
That is what we yes, that is what actually the Pakistan is. This dud nation was fighting a war against India, because what turns out to be that there were more than tens and thousands of, more than 10,000 rockets, these artillery shells were fired into the Indian territory, and out of which 35 to 40% turn out to be duds, and that's why it is taking this long for the Indian army to actually dispose of these unexploded shells that have been fired from Pakistani side. And what it turns out to be that during 2022 to 2025, Pakistan has sold large quantity of its 155 artillery shells to Ukraine for their war against Russia, and all the working that were in the good condition, they were sold to the Ukrainians. But what has happened that when Pakistan was to fight its so-called war against India, it turns out that they have the substandard artillery shells with them, and that landed into India but did not exploded. And that shows the reality of the Pakistani establishment also, that their generals and the Pakistani establishment, to fetch money to overcome the debts that they are undergoing, they sold all the working artillery to Ukrainians, and when it came to their own, it was only the corrupt generals that took the money from the manufacturers, and they got these duds into the Pakistani arsenal. And when it was to be used, the Pakistani arsenal was to be used, it turns out to be duds that the now Indian army is collecting and disposing of. So it was more a war of duds that Pakistan was fighting within their establishment, because they had nothing that could actually harm Indian side, and that was seen as result of the Operation Sindoor. Though the Pakistan generals have got the rank of the field marshal, but the reality remains that they have only fired duds into the Indian territory, and that exposes the Pakistan to the Indian territory, and that exposes the Pakistani army that they were not even prepared for a war, that they were claiming that on 23rd of April, a day after Pahalgam terror attack, they launched an operation, and then Operation Bunyan-e-Masroor. The reality was that Bunyan-e-Masroor, or the other operation that they have launched, this was all farce to the people of Pakistan, so that they can keep them engaged that we are launching a major offensive. But the realities are that their mortar artilleries that they have used on that Indian post or the locations of the India, they all turned out to be duds that are now being cleared by the Indian army.
Okay, now 1 minute. Now I have some more details. The fact that they fired missiles and drones that were duds is a known fact. We have seen pictures of the missiles and drones falling along the borders. They don't even they fall, I mean, some were seen in agricultural fields, some in the deserts, right? Now, all of those drones and missiles were duds. So those were 100% duds. But these are 40% of the artillery shells. Now, are you saying this is only at the international boundary or international boundary and along the LOC? Now, wherever the shelling took place, you're saying that along the LOC and the IB where the shelling took place, is this what they have noticed, your sources in the army, that most of them were duds all along the border and the LOC?
Senior Ranjan, what has happened? That 90% of the shelling has happened along the line of control, and only 10% was on the international border. But the situation of these duds is throughout the same. The number could vary for a percent or 2%, but somewhere it was 35 to 40%. That is what we are picking up from the sources within the establishment, both Indian Army and the Border Security Force. Because we are told that the BSF, not only their own bomb disposal squad, was part of the teams to destroy these duds, but also the Jammu and Kashmir Police bomb disposal squad was also to be called in. Indian Army has begun this operation on 10th of May. That is the day when the last ceasefire was reached upon, and the operations are continuing till the day. That means you see the number of duds that the Pakistan has fired, that it is taking so long for both the BSF army and the bomb disposal squad to dispose them of.
Okay, stay with me, Gursimran. I have some big breaking news coming in and going straight to the breaking. I'm going straight to the breaking. Let's go straight to the breaking. Very, very, very big breaking news coming in right now. CRPF and Shawan is breaking the details. Zeenat has the details. I'm going across to that. Let's go full frame. Till I get the details, I'm going to be on the screen full frame and read out the details. This is post-Pahalgam attack, the investigation into Pahalgam. We have accessed breaking news update, and Zeenat is breaking the story right now on This Is Exclusive. CRPF ASI, post-Pahalgam attack, I'm repeating, post-Pahalgam attack of the 22nd of April 2025, in the investigation, we have accessed details that a CRPF ASI, Moti Ram Jat, was posted in Pahalgam before his arrest. Internal monitoring by CRPF has flagged suspicious foreign transactions. 3,000 rupees was being credited monthly to his bank account from abroad. Pakistani operatives posed as a woman contacted him via social media. The case is being investigated for possible espionage links. Big breaking news update coming in on the espionage racket. A CRPF inspector, ASI rank officer Moti Ram Jat, was posted in Pahalgam before his arrest. Now we have more details of the transactions into Moti Ram Jat's accounts. Internal monitoring by the CRPF flagged suspicious foreign transactions. 3,000 rupees was being credited monthly to his bank account from abroad. Details also coming in that it was Pakistani operatives who posed as women and contacted him via social media. The case is now being investigated for possible espionage links as India goes all out against the Pakistan spy ring. The spies within India, the enemies within India. We have accessed details of one officer who was posted in Pahalgam before his arrest. Zeenat is joining me with the details. Zeenat, I'm coming across to you. What more do we know about this CRPF ASI?
See, he is working with the CRPF and he's been posted there as ASI, and before his arrest he was posted at Pahalgam. And as per the reports that are coming in, this is a case of espionage, as every month some 3,000 rupees from the foreign source would get credited in his account. Now there has been an internal inquiry that has been going on, but this is a clear case of espionage that has been surfaced in CRPF, because the ASI who is we don't want to name the person at present, though we know his details, but let's keep a bit secrecy till we get the more information from the investigating agency as far as this espionage is concerned, because the CRPF man was posted in Pahalgam before his arrest, and we are picking that he was in a connection with some Pakistani source who was posing as a female, and he was in contact with the CRPF personnel, and every month some 3,000 rupees would get credited from some foreign source into his account. And now the details have surfaced in, for which the internal inquiry has been launched, and the case has been taken up by the investigating agency. And as we get more details about it, but this tells you that India has gone all out when it comes to espionage. One of the links has surfaced from the Kashmir Valley, where the ASI was posted in Pahalgam before his arrest.
1 minute. He was, okay. Do we have any, are you picking up any more details of the timeline of when he was posted in Pahalgam, when the money was transferred? Any more details you're picking up? I know it's too early from whatever you have. If you can share more details.
See, Niranjan, he was arrested. He was posted there before the Pahalgam attack. As we can connect the dots, that Pahalgam attack took place on the 22nd of April. That means that he was posted before 22nd of April, and he was posted, and he's holding a rank of ASI, Assistant Sub Inspector at the CRPF, and which is dealing with obviously the law and order situation. They are into the ROPs, they are into the encounter, they are at the encounter side. So CRPF is a part and parcel of Jammu and Kashmir when it comes to dealing with the terror activities, law and order on the ground. So now there has been an internal inquiry that has surfaced, which shows that he has been getting a foreign transaction, some 3,000 rupees every month into his account. And that has raised the red flags as far as this man's account is concerned. This is what we are being told. This is a case of espionage because of the links of the foreign source. And we are picking that he had some connection with the Pakistani man or the women, because she was posing as a female on the social media side. He was in touch with the lady, and he was also getting the monetary benefit through the foreign source into his account.
Okay. Stay with me. This is a big breaking news update. In fact, Republic has exclusive details of the CRPF inspector. He's an ASI rank person. Assistant Sub-Inspector, correct? Assistant Sub-Inspector CRPF Zenat. And yeah, and he was...
Yes, he holds the post of ASI.
And he was contacted by a Pakistani woman.
Yes, that is what the internal inquiry that has been launched suggests, that he had the links with the Pakistani women, and he would get every month some 3,000 rupees into his account.
We don't know. Do we know any details of what was...
a case of espionage?
Yeah.
Or since the inquiry is on, we expect more details will be revealed in coming time.
And do we know whether there was any exchange of information? Whether, because he was posted in Pahalgam, not trying to link the two, but was there any exchange of information, photographs, information that you're picking up?
Niranjan, these are very sketchy details that we are getting, but we have received the information that he comes from CRPF. He holds the rank of ASI. He has also been identified with a particular name. The internal inquiry is on the amount that has been getting credited into his account. The figure stands 3,000 rupees, and it used to come through a foreign source. Every month the money would get credited into it. Whether this was the only account that he was running, or he was having multiple accounts where the amount would get credited, for which the investigation is going on, and we will be getting more details in coming time.
Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. Zenat, thank you for joining us with that story. Big breaking news update coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. And we'll keep a close track on that. We'll get you the follow-up details in this investigation. And on this is exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. In the heart of Perambur in Chennai lies a tightly knit community built on a land that history never let go of. Nearly 600 people living in Ambedkar Nagar in Chennai now find themselves on the edge of eviction. And why? Because the land they called home for decades is now classified as enemy property under the 1968 laws. Republic TV gets you this report from a settlement in Chennai, waiting on the mercy of time and of the government.
It was a colony that was once bustling with life. But today, Ambedkar Nagar in Perambur stands on borrowed time.
நான் உங்கள் பேர் என்ன, இங்கே எத்தனை வருஷமாக இருக்கீங்க, இந்த எவிக்ஷன் நோட்டீஸ் மூலமாக கவர்மெண்ட் உங்களுக்கு சொல்கிறது என்ன?
இது கவர்மெண்ட்டு ஃப்ரீயாட் இடன்ட்டு சொல்கிறாங்க. இதை நாங்கள் 30-35 வருஷமாக நாங்கள் இருக்கிறோம். இந்த நேரத்தில் எங்களை காலி பண்ணுன்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. காலி பண்ணிட்டு வாழ்வாதாரம்லாம் எங்களுக்கு இங்கே தான், ஒன்றுமே நம்ம வேறு இடத்துல நம்ம இருக்க முடியாது. இதை வச்சு தான் நாங்கள் குடிசை வீடு கட்டின்னு அது இதில் நாங்கள் வாழ்ந்துன்னு வரோம் 30 வருஷமாக. இப்போ காலி பண்ண நாங்கள் எப்படி எங்கே போகிறது? அதுக்காக நாங்கள்லாம் காலி பண்ண மாட்டோம். எங்களுக்கு கவர்மெண்ட்டுடைய ரேட்டுன்னா கூட நாங்கள் எப்படி வேணால் கடன் போட்டு இன்ஸ்டால்மெண்ட்டில் கூட போட்டு நாங்கள்.
At the center of this crisis is a law, the Enemy Property Act of 1968. The land that was once owned by Nasiruddin Shah, who moved to Pakistan in 1995, was taken over by the central government. Now 300 families living here face eviction. Eviction notices were served in December 2024. The families responded by approaching the custodian of enemy property in Mumbai. The final survey may decide their fate.
பக்கத்தில் கம்பெனியில் எல்லாமே இங்கே ஒர்க் பண்ணியிருந்தவங்க. இப்போ வீடுன்னு கட்டி 30 வருஷத்துக்கு மேலே ஆகிடுச்சு. இது ஆல்ரெடி ஒரு வாட்டி வீடுங்களாம் கொளுத்திட்டாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் அவங்க கடை வாங்கி லோன் வாங்கி இந்த மகளிர் லோன்லாம் வாங்கி இந்த வீடு கட்டவே ஆரம்பித்தாங்க. வீடு கட்ட ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டு அந்த வீடுங்க ஒரு 2 டைம்ஸ் கொளுத்திட்டாங்க. அது
Their homes may be modest, but their stories span decades. Many residents worked as laborers for Shah's factory. Some say they were even asked to settle nearby by the owner himself, back when borders were drawn, but lives weren't divided.
இருக்கோம் இத்தனை வருஷமாக இருந்ததுக்கான வரலாறுலாம் எடுத்துகிட்டு போய் நாங்கள் கோர்ட்டில் வச்சு இது போட்டதுக்கு இது வந்து சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் இடம், அதுக்கு எதிராக நீங்கள் வந்து கேஸ் போட முடியாது சொல்லி தள்ளுபடி ஆயிடுச்சு. தள்ளுபடி ஆனதுனால இது எங்கேருந்து பிரச்சனை வருதுன்னா, மும்பை சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து மும்பை கஸ்டோடியன் கிட்டே இது ஒப்படைச்சிருக்காங்க. அவங்க மூலிமா எங்களுக்கு வந்து நாங்கள் ஸ்ட்ரெயிட்டாக அவங்களே பார்க்க போயிருந்தோம், மும்பை போயிருந்தோம்.
The community has been vocal. Letters sent to the Tehsildar, the collector, and to New Delhi. They demand a lease or to be sold the land at a subsidized rate, just like nearby schools and theatres.
2004 வீடு 4-5 வாட்டி எரிய விட்டாங்க. வீடு எரிய விட்டப்போ கட்டுறதுக்கு கூட துணி இல்லாமல் நாங்கள் நின்று.
Their appeals, though heartfelt, rest on uncertain legal grounds. The central government's stand is clear. The land belongs to the nation. But residents argue, if they've lived, voted, and paid taxes here, are they not a part of the nation too? In a city chasing modernity, Ambedkar Nagar is a reminder that some stories never truly belong to the present. For these families, the question isn't just of land, it's of identity, of belonging, and of whether home can ever be taken away.
Getting in this report from the coast of Kochi in Kerala, which is now on a high alert after an incident involving a Liberian cargo vessel. A story we broke here on Republic TV on Saturday. There are fears of an oil spill looming off the coast of Kochi. Indian Coast Guard has been at it for the last 3 to 4 days, urging residents to stay vigilant as they fear a possible oil spill.
Amid looming fear of oil spillage, 3 vessels of the Indian Coast Guard Vikram, Saksham and Samarth continue to work round the clock off the Kochi coast to respond to a marine pollution emergency that arose after a Liberian vessel MSC Elsa 3 capsized. On ground, the salvage operation has been sped up, equipped with oil dispersants, infrared sensors and aerial surveillance. The Coast Guard vessels are working to minimize environmental damage.
Right now I am at the Kollam beach, very near to the Kollam port, and you can see very clearly over here one of the containers has washed ashore. Now this locals say this container washed ashore at around 6:30 a.m. today. In fact, what they have been saying is that far in the sea they have been seeing these containers floating towards the south, that is towards that side. That means it is going towards Thiruvananthapuram. Now, as far as Kollam is concerned, at least in 8 different coastal areas of Kollam, there has been containers that has washed up offshore. There's one container over here. Now, what we know is that from this container had some of these wood piles. Now, those wood piles over there, also one container has been safely been taken inside. The container over there has not yet been opened. Now, around 10 kilometers away from very spot where I am standing, in a place called Shakti Kulangara, there are 8 containers which has washed up shore.